Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder aboard the H-34. And this is my very first gameplay that I showed to you, me flying a helicopter. In the past, I showed one video exactly about helicopters, but those were replays from my dear friend Exe. And that has been a while ago. Since then, I developed the opinion, for good reasons, that helicopters are bad for the gameplay, at least in Tank RB. And this is also now a call for Air RB mode for helicopters, or at least try to implement them in Air RB. I think that they have somewhat of a niche, and that Gaijin doesn't even try that is a little bit of a shame. Now, what is the H-34? Well, it is an American 8.0 premium helicopter, and you can get it either on the marketplace or you had the chance to assemble it through the Operation Shipyard. This is one of four reward vehicles that you can get of all variants: ship, plane, tank, helicopter. And this is the last one that I present to you. The British reward plane I didn't show you because that was a reward that we could get in a previous event. So, the Whirlwind, not of particular interest, but of very much interest are those two German premium tanks that are next to each other, and I get a double kill. Because what I just fired was a single missile, and it was the Bullpup. And this is one of the strongest pieces of equipment that you can ask for. Why? Because this is a 260 kilogram heavy warhead, traveling at up to 245 meters per second, and delivers a 63.5 kilogram heavy TNT warhead at upper range of 4 kilometers, resulting in a penetration value of 93 millimeters against any angle at any distance. This is a very powerful weapon, but you only have one of them in that third loadout. You also have two other loadout options, namely also the Mighty Mouses, up to 40 of them, and also some M3 Browning 50 cals and the 20mm NM3 guns. But here we have two 20mm Mark 11 cannons with 400 rounds, high rate of fire, and they are pretty nice as well. So they are mounted to the side. They give you a momentum to the left if you try to fire them, and to align them with the target is not really that easy. So what I just developed was a playstyle like: use this helicopter, fire the Bullpup, and then try to return without crashing. And even if you crash, don't worry, tovarish, give me 18 seconds to repair and you're good to go again, because War Thunder realistic battle. Okay, jokes aside, yeah, this thing currently gets sold on the marketplace for 53 Gaijin coins. That's the same amount of Gaijin coins, which is equivalent to US dollars, that you have to pay for the VT-1-2 on the marketplace. Way too expensive for my taste. Yes, it is a full-fledged premium. It has some nice Civiline and RP modifiers, but I don't really like it. But again, it is in the absolute sweet spot. This represents what I despised about helicopters on the very first day that they appeared in the skies of Tank RB. Again, pilots don't really have that many choices, because the AB game mode, which I tried as well, isn't really all that fun, and frankly it sucks. The RB game mode for helicopters only was removed for whatever reason. It makes no sense for me. And so, yeah, this is again a call for the Air RB helicopter game mode. Here in tanks, the H-34, as I said, is in an absolute sweet spot. You can use it from the very beginning. You can kill tanks from a very long distance, and you just are very easily able to get a kill, and you deny the enemy the flanking, the capping, getting into a position that is very strong, and you just make enemy tankers very unhappy, to say the least. You make them angry, so they try to jump into planes. But therefore, which is a natural counter, they'd have to invest many more spawn points than you have. And here, I just successfully dodged barely an enemy plane, and this Italian premium just manages to get into my line of sight, and I get a critical hit, If I would be able to control the helicopter a bit better, I would have shot him down right there, but the critical hit was all that it took, and eventually he crashed. Not just only managed I a terrible double strike at the very beginning, and also killed a third tank so far, I also shot down my counter, the IAR-81C. And then, a few seconds later, again after a successful return to base, I smacked here another premium German tank. No, that was actually a regular A1A1, but never mind, that was my ace. So you can see this helicopter is efficient, and I think that it's also not a very nice playstyle. For me personally, it's boring, and also I have to say that this was the first day of me ever really playing helicopters in Tank RB, and I never went into a tank. I only had to put a reserve tank into my lineup, and I was good to go. And this is absolutely not right, because I can punish any tank at this battle rating. And again, I don't get smacked on the helipad like some higher battle rating helicopters, due to the SAMs are not there. There you can see how the 20mm give me a momentum to the left when I fired them, and I actually get shot down by the H-34 Otsu, which got set on fire just a few seconds later by an ally. And here again I see a Leopard moving into position, and right at the start I smack him for first strike. I denied him getting into the cap in time. Talking about denying caps, there is another tank. He thinks he's safe, but nope. I could just get in the missile versus this M48A2C and again deny him capping. Those were 2 caps denied. And while we were at it, I had to show it to you because it was so sad. An endangered species, a mouse. And you think he's safe. Only 93mm of penetration, but the blast hitting the side of the turret, splashing down into the 75mm ammo rack, and then at the very end of the game, there was also this Coelian. He was the last enemy tank that there ever was. He was AFK. He just tried to make the game happen longer, but no. And there you can see 39,000 civilians, 4,000 RP. The civilians would be around 65,000 if I actually would get the premium modifier, and the RP also roughly 7,000, something along the lines like this. So far, so good. Very effective, right? Now, it's not just that you can kill enemy tanks, that you are a flying eye in the sky, but you're also a very big distraction. And one of the first games that I had, I actually missed my Bullpup. Then I just hovered over the enemy team. They had no SPA, and they were just standing still, trying to get gun on me, trying to shoot me down with machine guns. And I was a huge distraction. Meanwhile, my team, the rest of the team that actually was in tanks. Oh, by the way, look at this. I killed the BMP-2, and so the ATGM that he fired at me lost the connection and just wandered off to the left. So I was a huge distraction that tried to shoot me down. Meanwhile, they didn't cap anything. The rest of my tanks on my team actually managed to surround them, cap all the things, and just shoot them up. But very often, there are a lot of AH-1Gs and this H-34s. The most ridiculous time was when half of my team was actually helicopters. Now, there is a big risk. If you don't manage to get enough kills and you get shot down, you have to invest so many spawn points that after this, there is nothing left for you to do. And you cannot really jump into a tank. Thereby I was also team killed, because not just enemy players hate you, but also your players. By the way, I do not advertise here this tank. I just wanted to show you how it is. So I know exactly what it's like getting shot up by enemy helicopters. I absolutely hate this, especially from the very start. And now doing it myself, yeah, and that's so reliable and that's so easily, especially, this was my first day of doing it. And it felt funny, it felt amusing, but not for very long. It didn't really feel that satisfying like I would do the same amount of kills with a tank. and I was completely disconnected from the gameplay. So yes, eventually I show you a scene where I try to cap at the very end, but it is absolutely representing what is wrong. This is a helicopter shooting up some World War II tanks. This is a helicopter that has no natural counter. This is a helicopter you can use right from the start and delete any tank at your will at a very long range, 4 kilometers. And they have to go into planes, investing so many points. And yes, sometimes they delete you on the helipad. I get it. But look at this scene. Look at this scene. This is the last scene that I wanted to really show you. I despise it. So this is also representing getting into a game, kill as many tanks with the Bullpup as you can, die, then leave the battle because you don't really care. Again, the reserve tank is all that you need. And you get into the next battle and you rinse and repeat. This is not what should be the case. This is not right. This is killing the immersion in tank RP. Please rename this game mode to Combined Arms or to Helicopter Turkey Shoot, I don't know. But don't call it tank RP when that is possible very reliably all the time. And the second you try to play, in more support of your team, the very time that you try to capture a capture point, you put yourself into risk. You don't have the chance to kill that many tanks compared with just hovering over your own helipad and shooting up enemy tanks from their spawn with your Bullpup. Because a lot of the tanks are small, because a lot of the maps are small enough. So, if I would be sarcastic and I would be really trying to make this helicopter more valuable, I would say, we need reload in air in RB tanks for helicopters only. We need to remove SPA entirely. We need to remove NGs on tanks. We need to make the SPA around the helipads godlike to prevent scenes like I showed you. And we need to make the reward for landing and starting with the helicopters much higher. This would be things that Gaijin needs to do to make helicopters even more user-friendly. And all those things are things, or the majority of things, are what make War Thunder stand apart from other games. So the helicopters implemented the way that they are right now are implemented in such a way that everybody trying to play, normally and trying to use a brain and trying to show initiative, flanking, good positioning, any sort of skill, and the enjoyment, as well as the tankers, get killed. Yeah, and here I got punished eventually by BMP2 for capping. I just could have stayed out of his ATGM range, or the range of the 30mm. But hey, it's just how it is. So I'm absolutely not okay with this helicopter. Don't buy it on the marketplace. If you have assembled it, use it to grind. One little tip here, that is the last scene that I wanted to show you. I have here a Leopard and he is shooting at me with the machine guns. I launched the Bullpup, AGM or ATGM, whatever you want to call it. And one new feature that got implemented recently is that you can shoot down any sort of ordnance that is in the air. Here it looked a little bit laggy, but in the actual battle that I managed to not record was that the Bullpup exploded in mid-air, and that was a bit of a shame. So this is me representing the H-34. It was able to put a little bit of a smile on my face for how stupidly Gaijin managed to implement it. It is absolutely wrong. It's effective. This should not be a thing. At this battle rating, using this thing right from the start and getting kills that easily without them being able to do anything about this. Let me know in the comment section if you agree, if you disagree. Again, I do not want to advertise your helicopters in any way, shape or form, but I want to advertise them getting their own game mode, because in Tank RP, this is absolutely sickening. I said it in the past, fighting against them, and now I say it again, fighting with those things, that this is not right. It should really get overhauled by Gaijin, increase their battle rating, and also let them cost more RP, also reduce the amount of RP necessary for fighter planes trying to shoot them down, and just overhaul some of the maps, because some of the spawns are not really far enough apart from each other. Again, let me know in the comment section what you think about this entire topic, this helicopter in particular, and what is your experience using it and or fighting against it. That's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like, and subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, on the battlefields, and in the skies of War Thunder.